This is a short video. We're going to look at some numbers to see if there's a justification for SB64 to take away people's rights to practice their beliefs. So the author of SB64 wrote that the bill is needed to prevent a public health crisis because giving religious exemption to some children will result in outbreak of deadly disease such as the measles. Let's look at the current measles rate in Florida. So I typed in Florida measles case and clicked on Florida Health website, and I'm going to scroll down. So this graph shows that in 2013 there were 7 cases, 0 in 2014, 2015, and 16 there were 5 each. 2017 3, 2018 was 15, and this year we had 2 so far. And the 2 measles cases were contracted in Southeast Asia. Yep, right there, Southeast Asia. There were no reported deaths. Anyone looking at this data cannot conclude that we have an imminent public health threat from the measles. Next, let's see how many kids actually use religious exemption in Florida. For that, I Googled vaccine tracking kindergarten unvaccinated Florida, and then clicked on state immunization survey. And then I'm going down to kindergarten and 7th grade immunization status report and click on the most current report. So this report just came out April 17 of this year. What we want to look at is the number of religious exemption. So there it is. It's 2.9%, 6,472 students. $4,023 schools and 224,641 total students. Next, we need to check out the Florida population. I think it says 21.3 million, but just to make sure, we're going to go to census.gov to verify the data. Alright, so it is verified. It is 21.3 million people living in Florida. So with all that data, we're going to calculate it. 6,472 out of 21.3 million is 0.03%. So the author said this presents a threat of true public health crisis. So would vaccinating all 0.03% of the population in Florida prevent a health crisis? I don't think so. Does it look like we have a public health crisis with 2 cases of measles this year? I don't think so. Is it worth away taking people's rights? No. And last one, what motive is behind forcing vaccination of the 0.03%? The only thing I can think of is that there are people who think that other people have to do exactly what they want, and these people are extremists. They take away other people's rights in the name of the greater good. It's been done throughout history, and Hitler would be one of the examples. But don't fall for it. These things that extremists come up with, they would separate people. We can see that they came up with a propaganda. But 2 cases of measles this year and 6 per year, basically on average for the past 6 years, is not a public health crisis. And forced vaccinating the 0.03% of the population will not make any difference whatsoever. But for the 6,472 families, well, actually it would be less because some families have more than one child. Basically, there are three options if this bill passes. One, it's either they comply against their beliefs or conscience, or two, they will choose to homeschool. And this is basically a discrimination of a healthy child, because you're allowing children with other diseases to go to school. Children with hepatitis B can, HIV can, hand, foot, mouth disease, herpes, etc. And then last option would be that they would move out of state, and we already see that in California and New York.